Welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Ulrich Grober. Thank you so much for joining me. Today on our program, we'll talk about last night's Emmy Awards. We'll host Irene Oleansky, a musician who records music by Jewish communities in Asia and Africa. And we'll take a stroll down memory lane in an Israeli nostalgia festival. We begin today with the Emmy Awards, and to tell us all about it, the unstoppable Shachar Peled is here.
I did.
Welcome
yes,
back.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Take it away.
Well, it wasn't a surprising evening, we can all admit. Of course, Breaking Bad was the biggest winner, took it all home. Best drama, best actors, Aaron Paul becoming the youngest actor with 3 Emmys.
Rightly so,
and
if
best
you ask
script,
me.
yes, best writing as well. This was, of course, expected, a very big celebration of bidding farewell this this great show that I think everyone put their bets on it, and this was definitely well deserved.
We've also seen in the last few days a hoax about it coming back just in time with the Emmys.
Yes, I'm sure it was all about timing. Maybe there will be a 6th season, maybe not. I think yes, only the prequel we'll have to do only with the prequel. In the comedy section, no surprises there as well. It was Modern Family with its 5th year in the war in a row again. We've got Julia Louis-Dreyfus with her 3rd leading role in Veep, and she got a great kiss on her way to the stage. Let's have a look.
Emmy win for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Over her career, she's won 5 Emmys and had 18 nominations. Previous wins have been for Seinfeld, The New Adventures of Old Christine, and Veep.
A good thing Jimmy Fallon was there.
Give me some context to that.
Well, there's of course the Seinfeld episodes. We all remember Bryan Cranston there, Tim the dentist, and there was a kiss. There was a kiss between Elaine and Tim. Cranston tried to remind Julia Louis-Dreyfus of that. Here, giving the award to Sheldon, I was going to say, to Jim Parsons. He tried to remind her that, and she said,
couldn't remember.
Yes.
He decided to remind her in the best way.
Absolutely. And she had to admit once she achieved her award. Other predictables were the Normal Heart and for the best TV movie, and no surprise in the miniseries as well, with Fargo taking the big win. There was also Sherlock, though, nabbing the best actors. Of course, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
And quite a few other awards
and
as
quite
well.
a few other awards, but not best miniseries because Fargo came in. No one can beat the Coen brothers, I guess. And of course, the tribute. Billy Crystal tributing Robin Williams. You can't escape that. He started in TV, he ended in TV, and beloved by all. He kept saying how much he made us laugh. Let's have a short look to the tribute.
He could be funny anywhere. We were such close friends. He would come to all of our great family functions, weddings, bar mitzvahs, that kind of thing. And he would sit with my older immigrant relatives, like he was one of the guys. And he would tell them about his journey from his little shtetl in Poland to America. One uncle of mine said, "I came to America after World War II and I hitchhiked." And Robin said, "I waited till there was a 747 and a kosher meal."
Yes. He also mentioned how difficult it was to talk about him in the past when he was so present in all of our lives. I think it's really true for everyone. Moving on to the host.
Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers was quite a success, I must say. Absolutely. He had a very amusing opening segment there, making jokes, poking fun at the audience and at himself. Of course, the fact that it was a Monday since 1976, the Emmy Awards weren't on a Monday, and this was a kind of an inner joke there. Who will remember the Emmy Awards, which were in the middle of the week? He also mentioned the controversial aspects of it. Orange is the New Black, for example, being
now the
drama
countdown
and comedy.
to the next Emmys begin. Shachar, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving on, in a moment, we'll hear the sounds of Israel's lost tribes. But first, some other cultural highlights from around the world.
The Museum of Decorative Arts in Paris is devoting an exhibition to the celebrated Belgian fashion designer and eponymous fashion brand Dries Van Noten. In 2005, the New York Times described him as one of fashion's most celebrated designers. The display is an invitation to a journey through his musical vision and fashion inspiration, such as Art Deco. The show also confronts women and men's collection from the designer's perspective. The exhibition will end November the 2nd. The work of David Reeve is currently being exhibited at the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. His paintings are deeply rooted in ethical challenges of the human being while also showing commitment to daily life. The display exhibits hundreds of painted images which convey stress and daily awareness of vanishing time. They spread out a colorful view of the daily political reality of an Israeli artist. The display will run until November the 29th. To mark the centenary of the First World War, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston offers a beautiful collection of more than 50 propaganda posters for various objectives and agendas, such as to encourage militarism in the society and to call for national solidarity in times of war. And the technique used is color lithography. Among the posters' presentation, the famous Uncle Sam, I Want You, created by James Montgomery Flagg, will be on exhibition. This is the first display on the subject in the USA, and it will run until May of 2015.
Irene Orliansky is a musician who chronicles Jewish music around the world. She travels to different countries in Africa and Asia, recording the chants and songs of the local Jewish communities. She then arranges the music and reworks it with the help of guest musician, and she's also currently working on a documentary about the Jewish communities in the Shiwa region in Ethiopia. Very happy to welcome her to our studio. Thanks for coming in, Irene.
Thank you.
So I don't know what to start with, but let's start with talking about your ongoing project of going out and recording these sounds. How did you come about doing this?
That's a combination of many things. I've been always really fascinated about the story of the lost tribes of Israel. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm a musician, and I really love ethnic world music. So that's how I decided to try and find out about those tribes.
And you go out, how do you find the people? How do you connect to them?
Mostly today people have internet, or not probably those communities, but people who probably visited them.
Right.
So that's mostly through the internet.
I see. And you go out, you record them, and then what do you do?
Then I arrange them. Mm-hmm. I add some instruments, arrangement, and I invited some really famous musicians to play, such as Jerry Morato, Tony Levin, of Peter Gabriel.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now you released an album of the result of all this hard work last year. What's the album called again?
Music of Israelites and Jews of Africa and Asia. And
what kind of reactions are you seeing to it?
People who heard it really love it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I'm totally independent. There's nobody who is anyhow advertising or trying to help me with selling the CD.
Maybe it's also fortunate, so you have the freedom to do as you please.
Yeah.
Let's judge for ourselves. Let's watch a little video from the album.
We cannot fight, we cannot hate, we cannot, cause we brothers in the holy one. Never look and now, dump on me again, Damirembe, what why? Never look and now, dump on me again, just please, what why? Please, crazy man.
Beautiful. Now, I'm curious, do you find any connection between the sounds and the music of different communities that are all Jewish, actually?
No, not many.
Not connection.
Many.
So you think they're more influenced by the local music?
Definitely, absolutely. Because for example, this community, like we're seeing now, is a community from Uganda. They are not from the lost tribes. They converted into Judaism some 100 years ago.
Okay.
So of course it's their own culture. Or other communities have been outside of Israel for 2,000 or 2,700 years. So, of course, there is nothing left.
Nothing left. What's the most remote community you got to?
China?
China. Wow. So we can't say that there is a certain sound that is the Jewish sound that can serve as some sort of signal.
There is
Not
Jewish.
yet.
No, there is some Jewish character, Jewish soul, but music is different.
Not necessarily in music. All right, let's talk about the documentary you're working on. What sets that community apart that you chose to film this documentary?
This community is probably in the worst possible situation. They're persecuted. In villages, they're still murdered. Their houses are burned. And so I thought, and the community thought, that it may be helpful to create awareness of the world, of this community, of its existence. Because as the world believes there are no more Jews left there in Ethiopia. Unfortunately, we cannot condemn anyhow the world or Israel because they're hiding.
I see.
Themselves.
I see. Is that why they weren't necessarily included in bringing the Ethiopian Jews to Israel?
Yeah, they're still hiding. They still have to hide, and they're in a really bad situation because they're afraid to announce that they're Jews because they know that the process of recognizing them will take probably years, and by that time they will be probably murdered. So that's the story. And in fact, I and the crew were the first people who visited their secret synagogues.
Wow. Must have been very special. I'm looking forward to watching that documentary. When can we expect that, you think?
It's in post-production. I'm working on the film together with an American filmmaker, Hannah Nemer. It's in post-production. I think I will take another trip to Ethiopia.
Okay.
And it will be probably ready by January.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for it. Irene Orliansky, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Can a 66-year-old country formed by Jewish immigrants from around the world have a common nostalgic past? The answer seems to be a resounding yes. The Israeli Nostalgia Festival took place in Jerusalem last week. Daniel Campos and Ran Schneck went there to reminisce.
The Israeli Nostalgia Festival, organized by the Foundation for Israeli Senior Citizens, took place at the newly remodeled historical old train station in Jerusalem. Visitors from different generations and backgrounds gathered to remember and learn about objects which helped define Israeli society in the first few decades of existence. A place for any visitor to spend a day exploring history while also having the chance to freely walk around, play, touch, and feel the past. But the luckiest children were those who attended, accompanied by energetic grandparents that take pride in sharing anecdotes about the golden days of Israel. But the good old days were also tough ones. Jews who immigrated to Israel from Arab countries had to live under difficult conditions in absorption camps.
In the 1960s, me and my siblings would shower once a week in a tub like this. Afterwards, we would use the same water of our bath to wash the floors of our home.
One of the main attractions of the event was the legendary Susita automobile. Produced by Autocar CEO, Israel's first car manufacturer, founded in the 1950s. Susita was the first car ever made in Israel, and the manufacturing of these cars ceased during the 1980s. Today, Israel's only remaining car company is AIL Military Production Factory. Until this day, people laugh at the Susita and claim that when parked in the desert, it would be eaten by the camels, since it was made of fiberglass. The history of the past can also be felt through the collection of antique donation cans and a reminder of how the country has always relied on its people's generosity and solidarity.
I live with one leg in the present and one in the past. I always tell my grandchildren and my daughters about the way life used to be more innocent. And it was so fun this way. Today, everything is fast and instant.
The festival also offered a variety of activities in which actors and children interacted. Dressmakers with old sewing machines and textiles measured the children in the old-fashioned way it used to be done. School teachers from the past with old-fashioned desks and notebooks educated the children as in the old school system. An old radio with songs by Shoshana Damari, a gramophone, and old telephones were there for children to touch and play. While the friendly newspaperman distributed the news while making conversation with those passing by reminiscent of the days before the internet.
I came here with a group of actors. My role is the newspaper distributor. This is a festival dedicated to the previous century.
Since the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, growing up was never easy. But Nostalgia Festival shows that many Israelis prefer to focus on the positive memories from the past. After all, toys and items like these are universal to everyone, regardless of place of birth and generation. Items which helped shape the characters of a nation are less likely to be forgotten, as long as grandparents want to share a story with their little grandkids.
Those were the days. That's it from us for today. I hope you enjoyed watching our show. You can find our past shows online, i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Please make sure to join us again tomorrow for another edition. We'll be right here.